Scientists now have made nuclear weapons that are 100 times more powerful than the bombs dropped on Japan. These weapons are dangerous and need to be put to an end. To properly understand what a nuclear weapon is, the Merriam-Webster definition is a bomb whose violent explosive power is due to the sudden release of energy resulting from the splitting of nuclei of a heavy chemical element by neutrons in a very rapid chain reaction. I highlighted the important parts of that definition. Nuclear weapons are so dangerous because the damage they do to an area is permanent and can't be unchanged. To compare a nuclear bomb to a regular bomb, here's a statistic. And when a regular bomb is dropped on a nation, it's just an explosion or power of light, versus when a nuclear bomb is dropped on a nation, 50% of that explosion is a blast of energy, 15% is nuclear radiation, which is really important because that nuclear radiation is the cause of most deaths, that is the reason of deaths in nuclear bomb attacks. And 35% of that is thermal energy. Now, when a nuclear bomb is dropped on a nation, there is an atmospheric drop in temperature which messes with the ozone layer. Their harmful toxins have now infused that area, and that area is unusable for people to build on top of and for future generations, and that area is now stripped of its natural resources. To talk about a prime example of nuclear warfare, I'm going to talk about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In this war against Japan, the U.S. felt that the only way to end the war was to drop a bomb on them, and this bomb caused a devastating Japan that is still recovering. These bombs killed about 200,000 people, and results came out later that 6 months from this bombing, many people died because of cancer because of the radiation. This bombing was so devastating because children had to jump from school buildings and people had to run from their areas of work because buildings were crumbling on top of them and people were being disintegrated and just their shadow left on the sidewalk because of these nuclear bombs. And during some research, I found some stories of people who survived the bombs, and there was a story of a woman who was about 15 years old when the bomb was dropped, and she was left with her eye permanently swollen for the rest of her life. While this doesn't seem like a huge effect of a bomb, this woman now had to live her life with her face permanently altered and deal with her classmates and random people on the street. And the fact that this bombing had an effect on her for the rest of her life. While she might have survived, she still had some damage done to her. Now, to relate this to modern day, I'm going to talk about the Ukraine and Russia conflict. Russia has plans of invading Ukraine, and Putin has come out saying that he's threatening the use of his nuclear weapons on Ukraine. And after doing some further research, many sources have just come to the conclusion that Putin is just trying to get a rise out of Ukraine and that he's not serious in these threats. But it is very important to note and remember that Russia has the most nuclear weapons on the planet. Now, there are things being done to stop the use of nuclear weapons. There is a treaty in place, and this treaty was put in place January 22nd of 2021. This treaty bans the use, gains, owning, threatening, creating, and testing of nuclear weapons. I think this treaty is a step in the right direction because it's showing that the world is putting an effort to formally end nuclear warfare because it does absolutely nothing for our planet but destroy it. Nuclear warfare, if a huge nuclear warfare were to occur, the Earth would just be blown to shreds because of how powerful technology has come. These are the nations that own nuclear weapons, which include the US, United Kingdom, France, North Korea, India, Pakistan, China, and Russia. Once again, I think that nuclear weapons need to be put to an end because of the dangers that it causes for future generations. If we don't take care of our planet now and the world, we won't have a world for the future, and that's why we must end nuclear testing and nuclear weapons in total. Thank you.